From the Crown Plaza in Cromwell, it's Hartford Colonials Kickoff for Week 3 of the UFL season. I'm Jason Page. Crown Plaza Cromwell is home to the Colonials throughout this 4-month UFL season. The Colonials were in Omaha in Week 2 to take on the Omaha Nighthawks. Things didn't go exactly as planned. A thrilling game from Rosenblatt Stadium that went down to the final 2 minutes. Let's check out the highlights.
Hartford, remember, coming off the big win a week ago against Sacramento. Josh McCown going early. Opening drive, 14-yard touchdown. Tyson DeVries, 7-0 Hartford.
Omaha comes right back. Rendrick Taylor, I mean, look at this. He's a fullback, just got here. He scores a touchdown.
So we're tied at 7 going into the second quarter. And once again, McCown goes. This time it's Ryan Perilou coming in for his series, and he gets the touchdown. Everybody getting in the act, it seems.
Well, yeah, it does, because, you know, they spread the ball around. McCown just did a hell of a job, I thought, 22 out of 25. And here he is, McCown now, 35-yard touchdown pass to Patrick Carter. But the important thing in this drive was that Hartford missed the point after.
That would be huge, leading by 10, 20-10 at halftime. We move on to the fourth quarter. Hartford still leading by 10, 23 to 13. Garcia hits DeVard Darling to pull within 3.
This guy, I'll tell you what, you just cannot say enough about Jeff Garcia in the performance that he put on tonight. There's Darling, you're just seeing it, but he read the one-on-one coverage. He knew he had Darling one-on-one on the outside. And then this team really realized that they were in the ball game. They're down 23 to 20. Hartford gets a field goal. But man, oh man, and after this field goal, here comes Coakley on the kickoff return. He brings the ball outside the 40-yard line, and in comes Garcia. Garcia had about 2 minutes and 32 seconds to work on this thing. You see him tuck the ball and run away. This is a 40-year-old man. He's thrown for over 40,000 yards in his career. But when you watch what he does, I mean, he picks this team apart, and at the very end, he goes again to man-to-man coverage on the outside and goes to Ferguson for the touchdown. The 3 most experienced guys in this game really showed up.
Robert Ferguson hauling it in. Jeff Garcia completes a magical night. That's the only misstep he took, was on the celebration this evening. He leads the team back. All is well here in Omaha. Again, it's a magical evening. 24,000, biggest crowd ever. You see the numbers all the way around Hartford. Last week, they shut down Sacramento, but they could not shut down this team tonight. And you see the 303 total yards, but the 3 turnovers, Paul.
That's the most important thing. There were 3 turnovers in this game, and also mental errors as far as penalties were concerned. You know, they had a shot coming in. Hartford did. Fountain, who was the defensive end, after Garcia throws the ball's hit up in the air. Hartford intercepts it, and then Fountain hits him in the head. Now, they penalize 15 yards, and it was, what, third or fourth down, and they get the ball back. They get a 1st and 10. They only get a field goal out of it, but that's basically what they needed. Then they just came back, and that missed extra point cost Hartford, I think, the game. I mean, you got a field goal kicker, extra point guy. You got to make extra points. But I'll tell you what, this Omaha team did not quit any time in this ball game.
This week on Hartford Colonials Kickoff, we'll chat with Ryan Glasper, the Southington, Connecticut native, who's getting an opportunity to play pro football in his home state. We'll also talk with O.G. Fagan, the offensive line and tight ends coach for the Colonials. Find out what it's like preparing week in and week out in the UFL grind.
Steps up in the pocket, launches it deep down the middle. It's going to be intercepted. Ryan Glasper out of Boston.
Hartford Colonials Kickoff continues, joined at the Crown Plaza, home of the Colonials, by Ryan Glasper, safety for this team, also a Southington, Connecticut native. Welcome to the show.
How's it going?
Doing all right. Listen, if I had told you 10 years ago you'd have an opportunity to play football professionally, and oh yeah, you'd be doing it for a team in Connecticut, what would you have said?
10 years ago, I definitely would have said it's not possible. It's been an amazing opportunity, especially taking a year off of football. I didn't know really what I was going to do. I started to pursue other things other than football, and then God just blessed me with a great opportunity to come here and play right here for the Hartford Colonials.
You played your college football at Boston College. Talk about how the BC experience playing in the ACC prepared you for what you're doing now in the UFL?
Boston College was a great experience. The type of players and the character that Boston College recruited, it built a lot of team unity. It was probably some of the best 4 years of my life. At the end of the day, it prepared me for whatever was going to happen in the real world, got me ready. I went up, played 2 years in the CFL, came back, took a year off, like I said, got in the working world, and with a degree from Boston College, it actually challenged me academically as well as athletically.
We all know hockey is the national sport of Canada. With that being said, how's football treated there?
Hockey's definitely the national sport up there, but, they respect their football players. It's not as big as it is in the United States, but still, and actually a few people up there made a point to make a reference to the fact that football was originated in Canada. I don't know how true it is. I didn't do any research on it, but, they want to take, they basically want to, take ownership for that. But it's a different game up there. The style of football is a little different. I like to make reference to it's similar to rugby, soccer, and football all combined into one sport.
What were you able to take away from playing in Canada that makes you a better player coming back to play football in the United States?
When I was in college, I think a lot of my qualities had something to do with, coming up for run support and being a big hitter, but there might have been some concerns about whether or not I could cover people in a wide open space. And so in the CFL, it's a much bigger field. You have no choice but to guard, fast guys, and especially when they get the motion, they get a 20-yard head start and they come at you. So I had, to adapt a little bit to the style of play, but it definitely helped my coverage ability. So when I came back to the United States, it makes a big difference.
You're the first defensive guy that we've had on this show. Talk about how this defense has started to gel and come together.
I know from a DB's perspective, yesterday before we departed for our little break here, and one of the things is, since training camp, the defensive backs for the most part have been the same. They haven't really changed too much. And I think that has a lot to do with it. I think they do a tremendous job, the coaching staff, in terms of trying to keep guys here and not really shipping guys in and out. And I think that has a lot to do with it because it allows you to build up the team unity that you need. And with a short season, that's imperative. It's important for the team to stay together. That way they have an opportunity to bond. And I think that's where we're at right now. We're really gelling together.
One last one for you. Looking back on the loss at Omaha, talk about practice on Monday. Nothing can really prepare you for the sort of defeat you guys had. Nobody goes in and says, we're gonna lose this week. So there's no mindset that can possibly prepare you for losing a game the way you guys did down there in Omaha. What was practice like on Monday following all that?
A lot of guys were really disappointed, not to take any credit from Omaha, but a lot of us felt like we beat ourselves, and that's a tough game. They made some plays when they needed to. We also assisted them on making some plays. But at the end of the day, it's a learning experience for us. We're a young team, but that's not to say that we don't have great potential and that we're not going to achieve that potential. Guys came back mentally focused. We're looking forward to taking this break here, get our bodies back, feeling great, and we're just going to be really optimistic and come back on fire come October 9th, 8th. I think it's the 8th.
The 9th.
The 9th. So we'll be back and ready to go.
Ryan, appreciate the time.
No problem, Jason.
A major part of the mission for the Hartford Colonials is getting involved with the community. Week 3, an off week for the Colonials. It's an opportunity to do exactly that. They're going to do so with the United Way in Simsbury. Let's check it out.
Today is part of our kickoff for the United Way campaign here at the Hartford. The Hartford Colonials came out today as part of their efforts to reach out into the community. We're excited to have them. It's great to have partners in all aspects of our community here in Connecticut.
You want the Vegas tickets?
It's very important to get back out
being that we're a new team coming into a new town, so we have to show love to our town in order to get love back from our town, and obviously it's been working out very, very well.
My little guy saw a commercial. He couldn't get enough of, Dad, when are we going? Like a football team in Connecticut, and you know.
Definitely. Right? Definitely. That's what it's all about.
No problem at all.
It's great. We have the Colonials in our cafeteria area today. They're meeting our associates, our employees. They're giving autographs and really helping us to make this campaign alive and real.
In the summer, we had a couple events going to the Children's Hospital out there in Hartford, and now there's a bye week, we have some time off, so coming over here and showing some more love and just continuing that rapport and building it, it was a great opportunity for us today.
We're back on Hartford Colonials Kickoff and joined by tight end and offensive line coach O.G. Fagan. We know about the grind for players week in and week out. How does that translate, I guess, to the grind for coaches week in and week out?
Well, I think for coaches, the difference is we spend most of our time preparing, in preparation for practice to make sure that the players have everything they need when we hit the field to be successful and get better on a daily basis. So that's where a lot of the grind is for coaches, and the sacrifice that we make and our families make to make sure that we put a good product out on the field on Saturday.
On an average, how much game film would you say you watch in a week?
Well, being that I'm in charge of doing some of the breakdowns, I probably spend a large amount of time. Probably it takes some of the films we break down probably takes about 8 hours. So on a daily basis, I might spend 8 hours breaking down one particular film just to make sure we get the correct information, all the details that we need to make the preparations we need to make in game planning so that we can be successful.
In one day? You're talking about 8 hours of film in one day?
I've gotten better, because sometimes I've cut it down to 5 hours, and so it all depends on the game and the intricacies of the offense and the defense that you're breaking down. So it could take as long as 8 hours, but you could cut it down to around 5.
You talk about preparation, but how difficult is it to prepare when there's so little information out there about the team you're going up against?
I think early on in the season is always the most difficult part of the challenge. But the thing you focus on as a coach, and the thing Coach Palmer has instilled in us, is getting better on a daily basis and focus on what we control. So we all have an idea what we're going to face on Saturday. We might not know the minute details of the defense, but we focus on the little things. As long as we're fundamentally sound and we get better at what our package is and what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish every day and get the little things accomplished, we're going to be fine.
Your greatest responsibility as an offensive line tight end coach, is it protecting the quarterback?
Well, probably I work with Todd Washington with the offensive line. So the greatest responsibility I have is with the tight ends and tackles, and really trying to make sure they're fundamentally sound in the run game and make sure that they communicate well together when they're working together, especially in the run game, which is a large part of run concept. So, that's probably the greatest responsibility I have, and make sure they're fundamentally sound. Because a lot of times you see tight ends, everybody see them running around catching balls and making plays, but you don't know the little things that go into them, making an impact in the run game and blocking and those type of things.
What has the experience been like coaching under a guy like Chris Palmer in terms of what he's been able to teach you, the experience you've gotten from that?
I tell my friends and family every day is like this. I learned so much, because the wisdom he imparts in us and the wisdom he gives to us every day is invaluable. As a coach coming from the collegiate level, where you spend a lot of time probably putting out fires and not enough time with the X's and O's, just taking it all in. It's overwhelming sometimes, and I'm just excited about it, because I want to make sure that every detail that he puts in us, I hold on to, and I could use one day. So it's been great.
OG Fagan, appreciate the time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just down the road from Rentschler Field, the East Hartford Hornets youth football team gets a special visit from one of the Colonials, Hartford's own ASAP Schwab.
That's so little. I don't think I was ever that small.
I grew up in Hartford, Connecticut, and I grew up playing Pee Wee football. It looked much like these kids out here. It brings me back to when I was a kid, and I had some older people playing like high school football and college football come and talk to me and how much I wanted to do that. And now I had the opportunity to come back and talk to them, and it's very special to me. Basically, man, I'm just coming to see you guys practice, maybe give you some tips here and there. My main thing for you guys is just to have fun out there. You guys gonna have fun out there when you play?
Yes, Coach!
You guys gonna stay focused out there when you play?
Yes, Coach!
Stay focused and work hard, and that's it. That's the key to success right there. Let's go focus on 3. Can we break it down? Let's go focus on 3. 1, 2, 3. Really, I mean, personally, I think we're products of our environment, and I think the person I am today, the man I am today, has a lot to do with the way I was raised and where I was raised, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud to be from Hartford. Although football is fun, you gotta understand that it's an extracurricular activity, and your schoolwork comes first. I think it's very important for you guys to understand that now, more so than when you get to high school. That way it's already a routine for you to come in and do your homework and then worry about football and everything else. Realistically, only so many of them are going to be able to go on and continue to play football like in college or professional or whatever, but the education can last them a lifetime, and that's the thing they need to know at an early age. You're a receiver? Quarterback? You can catch, though. Community service and volunteer work is very good for any person to do to begin with, but just to do it in my own backyard is just very dear to me. So I'm very happy to have that opportunity. So let's go hard work on 3. 1, 2, 3. Hard work! Good job, y'all. Hopefully these kids will listen to what I have to say today and they'll learn from it.
There are a lot of people working hard behind the scenes at the Hartford Colonials. Equipment manager Ben Ginn talks to us about what he does to make sure the Colonials are always ready come game day.
To be an equipment manager, it takes lots of patience, lots of attention to detail. You have to keep track of everyone's helmet size, shoe size, shoulder pad size. You have to always be thinking one step ahead of just about everything on the field.
Just have to make sure you don't forget anything, you know? We don't have the convenience of being 20 minutes away from the equipment room. So we have to have everything ready Wednesday night for Friday game.
How far is that fine? Done? Make sure you get all the bubbles out.
Before every game, we go through and we put the center stripe on the helmet. We put the 2 logos on each side of the helmet.
Hey, guys.
We set up all the jerseys, put out the game pants, make sure everyone has a towel. We'll set up the sidelines. We'll set up the benches. When the players arrive, we'll be ready in case they have any last-minute requests, like they need a new pair of receiving gloves or they need any sweatbands or quarterback towels or anything like that. My job is to keep the players as comfortable as possible. They shouldn't be thinking about, oh, this undershirt's too tight or my shoulder pads are too loose. They should be focused on the game, so they'll be free to do their jobs to the best of their ability.
Fountain, New York Sentinels, in 09, defensive end.
Austin English, defensive end, played for the University of Oklahoma.
Danny Lansana, Detroit Lions, middle linebacker.
Shahir McBride, Philadelphia Eagles, wide receiver.
Coach Palmer is a great coach because he spent many years in the NFL and he has good experience. He's seen great athletes come in and out of that league, and he knows what it takes to get there and stay there.
Yeah, every week we just try to get better, build on the talents that we already have. Everyone here is here to better themselves as a football player, whether that leads them to the NFL or not.
Yeah, I think everybody's here for one goal, and that's to win games. That's why you play the game of football on any level, to win games and win championships.
All the players are all in the same boat. We believe in one another.
Just the camaraderie on the team, tight-knit group, guys that love to play football.
The love of the game, just getting out there. I'm a linebacker. I love hitting people, so, that just brings chills in my body just to get to hit people every day.
I love to hit. Love to hit.
You can expect us to come out and play hard, play fast, physical.
We're going to take it one day at a time, one practice at a time, one game at a time. And hopefully we can get the championship here in Hartford and bring it home for the city.
That's going to put the wraps on this Week 3 edition of Hartford Colonials Kickoff. A bye week for the team. Next week, we'll be back to preview Week 4 and a showdown with the Florida Tuskers. You can find out all the information you need on the Colonials on the web, hartfordcolonials.com. I'm Jason Page. We'll catch you next week on Hartford Colonials Kickoff.